They play from left to right, and our referee is Stuart Atwell. So, Pat Nevin, Liverpool have an opportunity here, and you'd expect it to be a home banker.
Yeah, they're going to have to make sure they get the 3 points here, because, I mean, it's a nascent league table, but it doesn't look pretty how far down that league table Liverpool are just now. So they want to get this one out of the way, and they would actually almost hope to put this game to bed in the first half. But looking at the way that Bournemouth have started, is that back four that you're suggesting very intriguing before the game? We had a good look around, didn't we? We thought they might do back five, but they haven't.
Henderson was looking for Firmino. At one stage they were warming up with Lerma as part of a back three, but they have switched that formation as Elliott, right hand side, sends over a cross. It's actually headed away by Firmino, picked up by Gomez, overruns it, and a heavy first touch up his right foot takes the ball out of play on this sunny afternoon and out for a Bournemouth throw. Certainly Bournemouth have had a tough reintroduction to life in the Premier League, like Crystal Palace, facing three of last season's top six in their opening four games.
Yeah, I was mentioning that to Chappell's earlier on. You know, people make a lot of snap decisions early on in the season. It's not a good idea to do that, particularly the transfer window isn't shut yet. But Bournemouth particularly, a really tough start to the season. They would like to be in touch with everyone else at the end of this little period, and then they can get back onto the normal business of the teams that they feel they can get points off.
Alisson in a light purple goalkeeping outfit in the shadows of the Kop away towards our right. Liverpool in all red, playing from right to left. Robertson in front of the main stand on this left-hand side, now decides to bomb forward, spreads it out to his opposite fullback, Alexander-Arnold, who now finds the right touchline, and it's Salah running on his toes. Elliott plays the ball forward. Robertson has stayed in the attack, might come to Firmino, and into the arms of Travers it goes, as Burton Albion, yet to win in League One, have taken an early lead at the Abbey Stadium in League One. Cambridge United 0, Burton 1 is a latest score. The goals as they go in around the country, as usual, it's the usual service on this Saturday afternoon on BBC Radio 5 Live. Every Premier League game covered, various reporters out in the Championship. We have Derby County, Peterborough, and Leyton Orient, Hartlepool in Leagues 1 and League 2. The Salah's into the penalty area, his attempted cross blocked, comes out to Firmino, chips over the cross, Luis Diaz with the header, and Liverpool inside the opening 3 minutes lead by a goal to nil. It was a perfectly weighted ball over, and Luis Diaz climbed and headed the ball in. Liverpool 1, Bournemouth 0.
It's a brilliant header at the back post. The problem that Bournemouth have got there is Firmino places the false nine. He drops back deep. The centre backs, I'm not sure who to mark. Eventually Diaz comes at the back post there. Nice little header. No one near him at all. Lovely cross from the left-hand side of their defence, and they just didn't cover. Liverpool, they wanted to start fast. Boy, have they started fast.
Well, we were expecting this type of start from Liverpool. It was a lovely ball across from
They are checking it, though.
They are checking it, VAR, as they do with everything. So what would that be for? That would be for the offside.
There was a build-up in the play before that. There was nothing I thought was obvious. That's not getting a good reaction from the fans here as they check it.
Craig Pawson is the VAR. Our little monitor has decided to go on the blink.
As indeed of all the other ones along.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, at the time, it will be tight. If Luis Diaz is offside, it will be extremely tight. Of course, Liverpool suffered against Manchester United with that second goal, Marcus Rashford, at on Monday night. The goal stands. And Liverpool do lead by a goal to nil. Let's get an update from Manchester City. Will Perry.
Well, listen to this in the 4th minute. Crystal Palace are ahead here. They lead by a goal to nil. I think it's an own goal. Mark Gahey was celebrating, but it's a free kick whipped in from the right by Eberechi Eze. I think it comes off Kyle Walker. Anyway, it's in the back of the net and Palace lead.
Well, they do have previous, of course. Crystal Palace at Manchester City. They've been somewhat of a bogey side in recent seasons. Liverpool now sent away with Salah on that right. Salah, right corner of the penalty area. To Henderson, plays it forward, takes a deflection and into the arms of Mark Travers.
It's been a very shaky start from that defence from Bournemouth there. I mean, Travers very early on, quite slow out to come to a ball. He eventually got it, but he was a bit hesitant. And I mentioned to you before the game, if I was Bournemouth, I would be switching sides here so that Liverpool not playing their favoured direction, but also Bournemouth goalkeeper's getting the sun right in his eyes.
Yeah, not sporting a cap either, but it could be a busy afternoon for Mark Travers, bearing in mind that they've already lost 3-0 to Arsenal. Manchester City, they were beaten by 4-0, and they find themselves already a goal down here at Anfield against a Liverpool side with certainly the bit between their teeth. So John Stones' own goal, it's been credited for that Palace lead at the Etihad. Liverpool are attacking. Salah enters the penalty area. Firmino, shot comes in, fine shot as well. Harvey Elliott with his first goal in the Premier League, and that's one to remember. Hit it instinctively, first time, finds the bottom left-hand corner from outside the area, and inside 6 minutes, Liverpool already lead 2-0.
Well, it's an astonishing start. Salah, every time he's got the ball, he just drags defenders towards him, which leaves gaps in the middle there. When it came out to Elliott, he didn't think twice. He pulled it right beyond the goalkeeper, into the far post there. Elliott's already had one brilliant through ball, but just didn't make it. What a fantastic start by Liverpool. Crisis almost averted already.
Elsewhere, Walsall 1, Grimsby 0, Harrogate 0, Newport County 1, Leyton Orient the leading Hartlepool United by 1-0. And in fact, let's get news of that goal from Charlotte Richardson.
Leyton Orient oozing confidence here, an early advantage courtesy some great work down the right hand side by Charlie Kelman. He was pulled back by Ewan Williams, the Hartlepool defender, doing his best to remonstrate with the referee, but it was inside the box, and George Moncur was there to step up and convert his second penalty of the season. It's a dream start for the hosts. It's Leyton Orient 1, Hartlepool 0.
Liverpool on the attack. Salah right hand side. This could be a very, very long afternoon for Bournemouth. We welcome listeners from the BBC World Service, wherever you are in the world. It's always a pleasure to have your company. You join us here at Anfield under the blue skies and the sunshine. And Liverpool already leading Bournemouth by 2-0. Goals from a Luis Diaz header after 3 minutes, and Harvey Elliott, his first in the Premier League for Liverpool, 3 minutes later. And Bournemouth really up against it. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, you've done so much work during the week, and the system, you know who's going to mark where, and every time they get the ball, Salah's got a chance, but I think he's offside.
Yeah, the ball's in the back of the net, but the flag was raised. Firmino coming back from an offside position. That'll be a free kick to Bournemouth, and I would imagine very, very soon, in about 90 seconds time, Anfield will be a venue full of emotion. Of course, the tragic murder of Olivia Pratt-Corbel of 9 years of age, murdered in her own home in the Dovecote area of Liverpool, just 4 miles from Anfield. Just like at Tranmere when they played Newcastle United in midweek, the supporters, I'm sure, will just start applauding in memory of Olivia within the next 60 seconds. I would imagine that the Bournemouth supporters will also be joining in with such a tribute. Liverpool here leading 2-0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. St Mirren lead Hibs by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Lincoln 1, Fleetwood 0 is the latest score. Tranmere lead Colchester in League 2, and Blackpool have taken the lead at home to Bristol City in the Championship. Bristol City, who've won their last 3, find themselves behind at Bloomfield Road. Liverpool lead 2-0. Manchester City are behind. Luis Diaz caught late by Lerma. The referee, though, will play the advantage as Robertson picks up the ball and drives from midfield out to Alexander-Arnold. He finds Salah now on that far side, and it's now with Harvey Elliott. And the ball now, Liverpool on the attack, a little bit flat-footed. So we're in the 9th minute here at Anfield. And very, very soon.
Been very, very quiet in the last few minutes, hasn't it? You know, and a lot of people are thinking at this moment.
There is a ripple of applause that is starting. And now everybody inside Anfield rises to their feet. We are in the 9th minute. This is in memory of Olivia Pratt-Corbel, tragically murdered. There are no words to comprehend what's happened. There are no words needed right now. Her thoughts and prayers are with her family. Liverpool leading here by 2-0. Robertson's ball cut out by Mepham, picked up now by Firmino. Firmino still going, appeals for handball, cleared away by Smith. Let's get an update elsewhere in the Premier League. We'll go to Brighton. Brighton leads Sahel side.
10 minutes played, Brighton 0, Leeds 0. A very physical start from both sides. Tackles flying in. Brighton just came on the counter-attack. It was a good pass from Gross to Welbeck, onto Trossard, into the area, but it was defended well by Leeds. Brighton 0, Leeds 0.
Brentford-Everton, Lee Blakeman.
Brentford 0, Everton 0. Brentford on top though. Hickey's had a shot deflected wide from the edge of the area, and then Mbuemo should have just scored from 14 yards out. He missed the bottom corner as well. Iwobi's gone close for the visitors. 0-0 at the moment though.
Remember, Manchester City are still behind to Crystal Palace by a goal to 0. Harrogate 0, Newport County 2. Wimbledon 0, Barrow 1. Two of the latest scores. Chelsea-Leicester, Masfarouki.
There's just been a penalty called here by the referee for Chelsea. Ruben Loftus-Cheek brought down in the area. I think we'll have a little bit of delay here while the VAR looks at it, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek with a chance a couple of minutes ago, the best chance yet of the match, still goalless. Come back to me and we'll see who takes this penalty.
We'll be back with you, Maz. Huddersfield lead West Bromwich Albion by a goal to 0. Burton are now down to 10 men. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's side. They were leading at Cambridge by a goal to 0, but they're down to 10 men. What about Manchester City? Any sign of a response at home to Crystal Palace?
Well, they've got a corner now, Dano, and Palace have hardly touched the ball since going ahead, but that goal to clear it up, it was a mess from a City point of view. A Stones' own goal, an Eze free kick, a touch off De Bruyne, then Walker's shoulder, then the knee of Stones past their own keeper Ederson. City trailing Palace by a goal to 0.
Van Dijk plays the ball out of his penalty area, forward to Gomez. You're listening to 5 Live in the World Service. Also, you might be listening on BBC Sounds on the app. Just find Radio 5 Live and select listen. The beauty of that, you can always rewind just in case you've missed anything. If you were to rewind it, you'd hear Luis Diaz's header after 3 minutes and a fine goal from Elliott 3 minutes later. Hull are leading Coventry City by a goal to 0, and it's out of play for a throw.
Yeah, they've actually done very well, Bournemouth, to calm the game down a little bit, and it has absolutely calmed down. They now need to get into the game and try and create something for themselves. They've had nothing in the final third so far.
Luis Diaz forward, Mepham caught a little bit there by Luis Diaz. That'll be a free kick. Let's go back to Chelsea. That penalty, Masfarouki.
That penalty's been overruled, Ian. One of the Chelsea players was offside in the build-up before Ruben Loftus-Cheek was fouled, so no penalty. Still Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
So Hull leading Coventry City, who are yet to win, bottom of the Championship. Earlier, of course, the two results in the Premier League: Southampton 0, Manchester United 1, and Sunderland 0, Norwich City 1. So Norwich go second. They had lost both of their away matches in the Championship, but Dean Smith's side moving second into the Championship. No other goals elsewhere around the country. And after that blistering start from Liverpool, now they're just sitting back.
Yeah, and they can do that, you know, because they'll take the ball at the back, they'll try and draw the opposition onto them, and if they do so with a back four against that Liverpool front three, they're almost outnumbered them 3-4, if you know what I mean. But so far at the start of this game, I have to say, Salah's is having one of those days. Every time he gets the ball, the whole place just gasps, waiting to see what he's going to do next.
Keeper Moore going down and holding his face. He just ran into the back of Gomez. Might have just caught the shoulder of the England international as he's down at that moment. There's been another goal. It's a goal. This time it's at Stamford Bridge. Masfarouki. Naz at Hull, sorry, yes. Hull Coventry, Naz.
Hull City 1, Coventry City 0. Oscar Estupiñán from a couple of yards out after a good cross from the right. Hull 1, Coventry 0.
Doesn't help when you've got a Maz and a Naz and then you've got buzzing and interference in the headphones.
It's very hard to hear. However, it's gone a little bit quiet around here because Bournemouth have got a free kick in a quite dangerous area. They will cross it into the box and have a chance to attack it.
Free kick. Tavernier to take it for Bournemouth. Lerma gets his head onto that as well. Comes then to Ryan Christie, and then the ball just lifts and drops safely into the arms of Alisson, and his distribution is first class, right down the middle towards Salah, and luckily for him, on the cover was Adam Smith, the Bournemouth right back.
And that's the problem, really. That's the problem you've got if you're Bournemouth. You're 2-0 down, you're at Anfield. They're wanting you to come on to them, and as soon as you do, It's one ball out, and we know that Alisson could play a fairly good pass. That was 90 yards almost to Salah's feet.
Tell you what is interesting with Liverpool leading 2-0. It's the first time in 8 Premier League games that they've actually opened the scoring, because for 7 successive matches in the Premier League they've conceded first. So for the first time since the end of April, when they beat Newcastle United by a 1-0, they've scored first. They've added, of course, since that, and here is Luis Diaz. They might add another one as Harvey Elliott takes it on. Harvey Elliott across the face of goal, and then Salah misses a tap in at the far post. If he goes with it with his right foot, he scores. He seemed to steer it in with his left, and somehow, if he got a touch at all, it's gone wide.
Look, we know how good Salah is with his left foot. It's an absolute wand, but it's no excuse. You've got to go with that with your right foot. You're spot on there, Ian. The build-up to that was genius. Harvey Elliott's working alongside Firmino there, and Luis Diaz, fantastic on the left-hand side. But Mo Salah, I know you're brilliant. It's a tap-in. You've got to go with your right foot, and it would be 3-0.
He's got a very good record at against Bournemouth, as a shot comes in there from distance from Lerma, saved by Alisson. And there's been a goal at Millwall in the Championship. Paul Scott.
It is Millwall 0, Reading 1. Reading's fine start to the season continues. It's a headed goal from Naby Sarr on his debut, arriving at the far post to head past Bartosz Białkowski. Millwall 0, Reading 1.
Liverpool have scored twice inside the first 6 minutes of a single Premier League game for the first time since March 1996 against Aston Villa. Such was the nature of this fast start here against Bournemouth, leading by 2-0. Manchester City still trailing at home to Crystal Palace. Chelsea Leicester is goalless, as is Brighton Leeds United, and no goals between Brentford and Everton. You're listening to 5 Live and the World Service. Wycombe 1, Charlton 1 is the latest score in League One. MK Dons leading at Morecambe by a 0-0. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in, as Gomez just caught a little bit late by a sliding Ryan Christie. Middlesbrough are leading Swansea City by a 0-0 at the Riverside. Middlesbrough, who are yet to win, drawn 3 and lost 3. Chris Wilder's side looking to get their first victory of the season. Sheffield Wednesday are leading Forest Green by a 0-0 in League One, and it's now Lincoln City 2, Fleetwood 0, as Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1 is a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. The goals as they go in, as we go to Brighton and Sahel side.
17 minutes played, Brighton 0, Leeds 0, with a free kick floated in from the right for Brighton. Adam Webster 7 yards out, should have really scored, but his header went wide. Brighton 0, Leeds 0.
Millwall 0, Reading 1 is the latest score in the Championship as well. Liverpool lead 2-0. They're on the attack. Salah, forward ball. Elliott back to goal, right corner of the area. Back to Salah, inside. Alexander-Arnold midway through the Bournemouth half. Out to Elliott with his fair hair. Stroked inside by Alexander-Arnold. Scooped forward. Henderson's made the run. Salah is there. Salah gets the shot away. Tipped over by Travers at the near post.
Absolutely brilliant play there. Harvey Elliott is phenomenal in this first period of the game there. But that scoop over the top, I just love that play. Gets the player in, and Salah gets it from a great angle with his right foot. But he was goalkeeper Travers was equal to Liverpool are still looking for that third goal.
We'll be going to Watford after the corner kick in the Championship. Watford and Queen's Park Rangers. Liverpool already leading 2-0 though here on 5 Live. Alexander-Arnold in front of that travelling support at the Anfield Road end. Little flick there by Henderson at the near post, and it's headed out by Zamora. So straight to Vicarage Road and Aaron Paul. Goal.
Watford 0, QPR 1. And this is an outrageous goal. Ilias Chair 30 yards out has taken a pot shot. It's taken a wicked deflection of Francisco Giralta. Daniel Backman is flat-footed in the Watford goal. He sprawled down to his left, couldn't quite keep it out, and the ball has nestled into the bottom left-hand corner. Watford 0, QPR 1.
2-0 to Liverpool in the Premier League. Crystal Palace through that John Stones own goal still lead at the Etihad. Punt downfield by Gomez, cleared away by Mepham, brought down well by Harvey Elliott. Nice control by Jordan Henderson, and a weighted ball for Luis Diaz, who pokes it goalwards. Goalkeeper got the block with his legs. He retreats to his goal line. Luis Diaz tries to find Elliott, and then stepping out of defence there was Lewis Cook, just at the right time for Bournemouth.
He's having a party out there, Harvey Elliott. This massive amount of space he's finding between the midfield and the forward line. No one's picking him up, but his touch has been fantastic. What a game he's having.
Burnley without a win in 4 in the Championship are leading at Wigan, who are unbeaten. Wigan 0, Burnley 1. Lee Blakeman's at Brentford.
Brentford and Everton. Brentford should be ahead though. Matthias Jensen 20 yards out, cutting in from the left, curler towards the bottom corner, and it came back off the post with Pickford beaten. Brentford 0, Everton 0.
Jordan Henderson plays the ball downfield. He's making his 400th Premier League appearance of his career today. 71, of course, were those with Sunderland, where he began his career. Sunderland, who lost 1-0 at home to Norwich City in the Championship. Liverpool playing here at Anfield from right to left, looking to extend their unbeaten home league record to 25 matches in the top flight. As now it's with Van Dijk himself. A bit of a landmark day today, his 200th Premier League career. 67, of course, were those with Southampton, who were beaten also at home by a 1-0 in the early kick-off by Manchester United.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of help there. They've changed the centre-back pairing quite a lot this season already.
Yeah.
Van Dijk never moves out of it. If he's fit, he plays, but so far they have not really been tested, not been asked any questions yet.
Joe Gomez, his 3rd different defensive partner already. There's been another goal. It's at Manchester City. Will Perry.
Well, listen to this, because Manchester City have absolutely battered Crystal Palace, but they're 2-0 down. A corner from the right-hand side from Eze, who whipped the ball in for the free kick for their first goal, and there was Joachim Andersen, almost on the penalty spot. Bullet header, bottom left corner. Palace lead City 2-0.
I did that great game last week at St James's Park, and during the commentary we were saying, well, maybe one goal might not be enough when you take the lead against Manchester City, and Newcastle then went 3-1 up, and Manchester City came back, and you're thinking 2 goals might be enough, but certainly makes for an interesting scoreline.
And again, we were chatting before the game with Chappers, saying that the smaller clubs are just fearless at the moment. They're having such a go. Well done, Palace.
Salah on the attack, right corner of the area to Harvey Elliott. The return ball to Salah, headed out by Zamora, the left back, Zimbabwean international. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Forest Green 0 is the latest score in League One. Liverpool are still on the attack. What was it that Jurgen Klopp was talking about in his programme notes? We still have belief, we still have perspective. There is no magic formula. Work hard and stick together. Interesting that all the panic about 7 points behind Manchester City, they were to slip up today against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, you don't panic. I mean, it's the best idea. I mean, they've gone through times before, Liverpool, even in great seasons where, you know, they have lulls, and it may well be that lull comes, you don't know when it's going to come. It's been a quiet start to the season. There have been a couple of little teething problems, but certainly there was no teething problems at the start of this game. Certainly. And they're desperate for a 3rd goal, because that would kill this off completely. Yeah,
there's a real hunger about Liverpool at the moment. Pat Nevin, of course, familiar voice on BBC Radio 5 Live, and indeed the World Service here at Anfield with us, as Liverpool have all the possession. Out to Salah. Salah with the ball to Firmino. Didn't break his stride, didn't lunge at it. It was just a little bit ahead of him, but it was a teasing low ball in from the right. Out for a goal kick, Liverpool 2-0.
It's the imagination of Salah at that moment there. On the right-hand side, left foot. No one would usually play that ball in at that angle. He did. Firmino was inches away.
Newport have had a good start in North Yorkshire. Harrogate 0, Newport 3 is a latest score, and a goal at Brentford in the Premier League. Lee Blakeman.
Everton ahead, it's against the run of play, but who cares? Brentford 0, Everton 1, ball over the top, Gordon into the area left side, great finish, across goal into the bottom corner, and did the travelling few thousand enjoy that one? Brentford 0, Everton 1.
Of course, there's Premier League action during the week. Everton are part of our coverage on Tuesdays. They travel to Ellen Road across the Pennines. That's on Tuesday night. We're back here Wednesday. Liverpool against Newcastle United. And on Thursday too, we have another live game for you. Leicester City, Manchester United. It's also transfer deadline day, so we'll be on air till 11 o'clock on Thursday night. Liverpool lead 2-0. Manchester City are 2 down at home to Palace as Elliott takes over far side down towards the byline, sends over the cross, and there's no corner. It was drifting out of play, and it goes out for a goal kick. So that's Anthony Gordon. That's only his 5th goal that he's scored in about 60 odd appearances, and yet he's been talked about for 50-60 million pounds as a player.
He's up 10 million quid for every goal he scores, so that's another 10 today. No, but he is a fantastic player, and certainly he's a player that's going to improve. You don't have that quality, that intelligence, that movement, that understanding, game awareness, and get bad. He's going to be a great player.
Liverpool leading 2-0 then here. Alexander-Arnold to Firmino. Now with Henderson outside the centre circle. Of course, for all the sides competing in Europe, providing they progress in the League Cup third round, there will be no more midweek break for them between now and the World Cup. It's going to feel quite a relentless schedule for all the sides competing in European competition. Talking of sides in Europe and the Champions League to boot, Rangers are at home to Ross County, and a goal. Roddy Forsyth.
And they've just taken the lead after considerable pressure on the Ross County goal. Tillman seeing a shot blocked for a corner, then a second shot tipped around by Laidlaw. It fell eventually for John Lundström, the man who was ordered off against Hibs last week, and he made the mark. Rangers 1, Ross County 0, 25 gone.
Elsewhere, St Mirren still lead Hibs by 1-0, and at Rugby Park it's Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1. Salah right hand side for Liverpool, leading 2-0. Elliott growing in confidence. More and more times you see this young man shifts the ball on the inside. It's only his 12th appearance in the Premier League today, as Alisson comes herring out of his penalty area, almost to the edge of the centre circle to get there, and puts it out of play for a throw.
The difference between Alisson one side and Travers the other side, Travers actually doesn't want to come out of his 6-yard box when the ball's bouncing about there, whereas Alisson, well, he'd rather play centre forward if he was given a chance. Read that brilliantly. Had he got it wrong, he'd have lost a goal at the very least, and maybe a player as well. And by the way, come back to Harvey Elliott just now. When he plays in that kind of right midfield position, just beside Salah, the understanding between them two is incredible. It really is a delight to watch, and every time he's got the ball, he's tried to do something. He's lost it once or twice, but in that final third, at least he makes the efforts.
19 years of age, he's some prospect, some talent. Liverpool lead 2-0. Henderson coming forward, Elliott is ahead of him, he finds him, and then Bournemouth defending very, very deep, break up that play. Port Vale 0, Portsmouth 1 is the latest score in League One. Alexander-Arnold now coming forward for Liverpool, and then it's intercepted by keeper Moore, but Liverpool win it back. Alexander-Arnold coming forward now, urged to shoot, obliges, and succeeds. What a fine goal from Alexander-Arnold. The crowd wanted it to have a dig. He did just that, right-footed, and Travers given no chance. And Liverpool lead by 3-0 and are cruising to what will be their first win in the Premier League this season.
Well, first of all, lovely build-up. Firmino wins the ball back. A couple of little 1-2s. Really nice play in the midfield there. Comes to Alexander-Arnold. OK, Matchley Dave, get ready for your goal of the month, because that one's in it. Full stop. Leathered, top corner. Keeper hasn't got a sniff of it. It's a classic Liverpool and a classic Alexander-Arnold goal.
No chance for Travers. Meanwhile, goal at Watford. Aaron Paul.
Watford 1, QPR 1, equaliser for the home side. It's come through Ken Sema, who found himself in the box unmarked, plenty of time, and with a gorgeous finish to plant it into the bottom right-hand corner. Watford 1, QPR 1.
There was a swish of the arm from Travers. He was clutching at just thin air.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you might say, look, could he have got a hand to that? The ball was swerving all over the place there. Nothing he could do about that.
So, stories elsewhere in the Premier League. Manchester City still trail 2-0, and there's now been a sending off at Stamford Bridge. Mas Faruqi.
Yeah, it's still 0-0, but Chelsea down to 10 here. Conor Gallagher has been sent off. He pulled back Jamie Vardy when he was off on the counter, the Leicester striker. He was already on a yellow, a silly foul to give away, and he is off. Chelsea, 10-man Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
That, by the way, is the 800th goal for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. They lead by 3-0. Ipswich are leading Barnsley by 1-0 in League One, so the leaders are ahead there. Still unbeaten at Portman Road, leading Barnsley 1-0. Meanwhile at Ewood Park, Blackburn, Stoke City, Pat Murphy.
Stoke go ahead deservedly, and Lewis Baker the scorer deservedly. He'd already been fouled by Kaminski with a curling free kick. This time nobody picked him up 25 yards out. Don't they know he's got a good shot on him? He scored from 25 yards, right foot. Ian, Blackburn 0, Stoke 1.
Dean Holden, of course, in caretaker charge for Stoke City after Michael O'Neill was sacked on Thursday. Just one win in 6. And, of course, Alex Neil likely to be the next manager of Stoke, who are leading by 1-0 as Huddersfield increased their lead against West Bromwich Albion. They've had a disappointing start under Danny Schofield. They've struggled. They've lost 4 of their first 5 games, but they're now leading 2-0 in West Yorkshire and will stay in Yorkshire because Rotherham lead Birmingham by 1-0 also in the Championship. Paul Warne's side still unbeaten. Liverpool are on the attack, leading 3-0. They're looking for more goals. They might get another one, and indeed they have. The ball just looped into the 6-yard area, and Roberto Firmino has scored his first goal in 21 attempts at Anfield in the Premier League from close range. Travers stayed on his goal line, Firmino was alert, Liverpool are sharp, and they're battering Bournemouth 4-0.
And it is an absolute battering there. I think the goalkeeper, I think he thought about it, he was going to come and try and collect it. However, it was a fluke cross. There was a deflection when it came up. It came at a very odd angle. But once again, it's that partnership over on that right-hand side. You've got Salah, he's alongside Elliott, and they just can't do anything about it. But it was a deflection, came back at an odd angle, and of course Firmino. Nothing that goalkeeper can do when he gets it on the volley with his right foot. 4-0. This could be anything.
It could be anything. Middlesbrough 2, Swansea City 0. Coventry City have equalised in the Championship. Hull 1, Coventry City 1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. But Bournemouth just looks so fragile.
They do. And I mean, a lot's coming from the right-hand side that I mentioned there. We know how good Salah is. But if you get Trent Alexander over there and Elliott over there, and they're moving as one, they're interchangeable. They've got great belief in each other's ability. And you cannot go close and go 2-1 with any of those 3 players because it leaves the other one spare. Really good technical play by the manager to put them together.
Juliet, who will be interviewing Jurgen Klopp in Sports Report later on between 5 and 5:30. The results and the reaction, as always, in Sports Report with Mark Chapman, has just pointed out Roberto Firmino, 3 assists and now 1 goal.
Yes. To me, it's a shame for him because he's not got the best statistics as a goal scorer for a centre forward, but you know he's not just that. Players love playing alongside him because he's such a brilliant team player, and yeah, massively important because remember, you know, well, stop for a moment, just a cross there from Bournemouth. You know, maybe people thought he was on the way out, you know, and the nest coming in. What a great answer from him today.
Let's get an update from Manchester City. Remember the last we heard from Will Perry, they were 2-0 down.
Same scoreline, City 0, Palace 2, in the same scoreline that it finished last season. Haaland's hit the side netting for City from a tight angle after Foden threaded him through into Corey, a long ranger, straight at Edison. City 0, Palace 2.
Liverpool are leading by 4-0. Salah, and still they want more, this Liverpool side. Alexander-Arnold to Harvey Elliott. Ball played back, flat ball in from Alexander-Arnold, and the header from Robertson, the left back inside the penalty area, about 10 yards out from goal, heads it over the crossbar.
It's actually getting quite horrible now. Every single time that Liverpool go that right hand side, they just put it across. There is no way that they can stop it just now. They changed the back 5 to a back 4. I think Scotty Parker's got to go out there right now and change it back to a back 5. They've got to limit the damage now. They're getting destroyed in that back line of Bournemouth.
Let's get news of the Coventry equaliser, Naz Premji.
Hull City 1, Coventry 1. It was a penalty. Figueiredo on Gordon. Gordon stepped up, dispatched the penalty with ease. Hull City 1, Coventry City 1.
You're listening to 5 Live and the World Service. Hartlepool United have equalised at Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient 1, Hartlepool 1. Sheffield Wednesday have got a third. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Forest Green 0, and it's now Lincoln 2, Fleetwood 1 in League One. Let's get an update from the cricket. England against South Africa. And South Africa in their second innings, of course. Ellie Oldroyd.
And continuing to frustrate England's bowlers. They're 141 for 3, so they're 123 behind now, South Africa. Peterson 42, Van der Dusen 41, partnerships 87. We haven't seen a wicket since the lunch interval, and there's only 5 minutes to tea.
Cambridge have commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra. Cambridge have equalised at home to Burton, who are down to 10 men, of course. Cambridge 1, Burton 1. Liverpool lead 4-0. That was a late challenge on Henderson. It's going to be a free kick. I told you that Hartlepool had equalised at Leyton Orient. News of it from Charlotte Richardson.
Yes, an absolutely sublime goal, Chappers. Wesley McDonald not taking one touch, not taking two, but taking three, able to navigate his way into the area to place the ball beyond Lawrence Vigouroux in the Leyton Orient goal. And I think it's safe to say Richie Wellens had a few words to say to the referee. Orient did have quite a good penalty shout down the other end, but Hartlepool were not worried about that. They fought their way back into this game, that fighting spirit that their manager wanted. Orient won, Hartlepool won.
Mark won't be happy about that, will he? Me being called Chappers.
That is the biggest smile on my face today. You and Chappers, you're very alike. You're two peas in a pod.
Yeah. Both svelte, I think you'll find. Here is Salah, linking up with Firmino. Firmino's cross blocked. Plymouth 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Barnsley have equalised at Portman Road. Cross comes in from Alexander-Arnold. No, another goal at Watford, Aaron Paul.
Watford 1, QPR 2. This is a lesson in counter-attacking football. Kenneth Powell down the right-hand side. He got to the byline, pulled the ball back and found Chris Willock, who lashed the ball in at the near post. Watford 1, QPR 2.
I think we're just morphing into each other these days. I think Mark called John Murray George on the Monday Night Club, didn't he, this week?
Yeah, I do listen to you and Mark. You do sound like an old married couple.
No exaggeration, Liverpool look like scoring every time they come forward.
I know, and that's why I was saying, if you're 4-0 down, all the players are looking around each other, defence at Bournemouth, they're saying, look, we can't stop this. We're getting destroyed in the wide areas. They've not even bothered to get down the left-hand side very much, Liverpool. If they do that, they could create even more chances. So if you're on that pitch, you're almost thinking, I want to change it myself. One of the midfielders fall right back and give a little bit of cover. It's not happening. They're very open. And I'll be amazed if Scotty Parker doesn't change this at half-time.
They're 4-0 down. They do have a throw on that left-hand side, and Zamora delivers a low cross, which is swept away in front of the Kop by Van Dijk, controlled well by Salah. Firmino then was stopped by the challenge that came in from Senese, the summer signing, 4-year deal from Feyenoord, the Argentinian international, as Bournemouth then flash a shot that just goes wide. Effort coming in.
Well, he's suggesting it was saved by the goalkeeper with the emphatic reaction he's had. I suspect it was saved by Alisson there. Liverpool were wanting a free kick there. I thought he brought it down with his arm. I thought it was much, the VAR might have looked at that one, but did the goalkeeper save it? See the angle?
Gone out for a goal kick. The shot that was coming in from Ryan Christie, that was off target. Liverpool lead by 4-0. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere around the country, so we'll get an update from Brentford-Everton. Lee Blakeman.
Brentford 0, Everton 1, but Brentford have hit the post for a second time, this time from a Tony header, and then Visser fired over the rebound from 8 yards. How Brentford haven't scored in this game, I don't know. Brentford 0, Everton 1.
West Bromwich Albion have got a goal back in the Championship. Huddersfield Town 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Memo to self. Invoice BBC Radio 5 Live for Mark Chapman's work this Saturday afternoon. In fact, change that, Mark Chapman's work throughout the whole year.
Don't be bitter. I've just said we've got there people who might be slightly worried this afternoon. Rangers fans probably quite happy. They've done very well. They've drawn Liverpool in the Champions League. Don't watch the first half this. If you do on match day tonight, do it from behind the sofa.
All the Champions League coverage you can hear on BBC Radio 5 Live, not this week, the week after. Liverpool travel to Naples to take on Napoli, and Rangers, of course, in Liverpool's group, will travel to Amsterdam to face Ajax. Those fixtures were released today. If you haven't yet seen it, you can check out the BBC Sport website. Brentford 0, Everton 1, Brighton 0, Leeds 0, Chelsea down to 10 men, still drawing at home with Leicester City 0-0, and Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2. Are the latest scores in the Premier League. Earlier, Southampton 0, Manchester United 1, and in the Championship, Sunderland 0, Norwich 1. Luis Diaz, Liverpool leading 4-0 here. 4 goals scored in the opening 31 minutes. We had 2 in the opening 6-minute spell, and then another 2 in 3 minutes after 28 and 31. Elliott plays an across from the right, cleared away by Bournemouth. Back to Stamford Bridge, Maz Faruqi.
Still 0-0, but Leicester have had the ball on the back of the net from a corner. There was a scramble in the box though. Mendy went down, free kick was given, the goal ruled out, but not a confident moment from the Chelsea keeper again. 10-man Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
Goal kick for Bournemouth.
It will be interesting looking at we've not seen any of the footage, but Chelsea, another man sent off for a shirt tug, which is I mean, it's extraordinary what that's happening in that club at the moment. It's something Thomas Tuchel has to look at.
Statistic from Opta Joe, Liverpool have scored 4 goals inside the opening 31 minutes, the earliest they've netted 4 times in a single Premier League game since 2014 against Arsenal. 5 live and the World Service. We've got 5 minutes to go to half time. Liverpool leading by 4-0. Leyton Orient, the League Two leaders, are back in front, 2-1 at home to Hartlepool United, who are yet to win under Paul Hartley. Let's go back to Manchester City, Will Perry.
Where it's still City 0, Palace 2, and Foden's just stuck an unmarked header onto the roof of the net from 6 yards out. Really should have scored, and City find themselves 2-0 down inside the first 20 minutes of a home Premier League game, Deno, for the first time since December 2010. That was against Everton. They lost that. City 0, Palace 2.
Thanks, Will. Liverpool leading 4-0. Salah right hand side. Alexander-Arnold gets the ball back from Elliott, looks up, delivers the cross. It's a deep one. Henderson will keep it alive, left-hand side of the penalty area, pops it up to Luis Diaz, takes it quite high on the chest, comes out to Henderson. But Liverpool they're in first gear here, leading 4-0. Henderson and Luis Diaz tries to get away from the attentions of Jadon Anthony. Now delivers a cross, picks out Alexander-Arnold. Comes on the inside, doesn't shoot, plays it to Harvey Elliott instead, delivers the cross, turn behind for a corner kick. Liverpool still lead 4-0. We'll go back to Leyton Orient. Charlotte Richardson.
It's Leyton Orient 2, Hartlepool 1. It didn't take long for Orient to get back ahead. He won the penalty earlier, and Charlie Kelman, with a fine, confident finish from the outskirts of the area, restores Orient's advantage. Orient 2, Hartlepool 1.
Is there time for a 5th goal for Liverpool before half-time? Corner kick, far side the right, attacking the Anfield Road end. In it comes now, it's an in-swinger, comes out to Salah, and Salah left-footed off-target goal kick. Another goal at Ibrox, Roddy.
Pat Nevin was saying Rangers fans shouldn't watch the Liverpool first half. Maybe some Liverpool fans shouldn't watch Rangers' second goal. Antonio Cholak, the man who was the hero against PSV, with a magnificent full-blooded volley overhead into the far corner of the net. Rangers 2, Ross County 0.
Should be an interesting game, that one, Roddy. I'm looking forward to it myself.
Cambridge 1, Burton 2. So the 10 men of Burton have come from behind and are now leading at Cambridge in League One by 2-1. No, in fact, they were 1-0 up, weren't they? But they're down to 10 men. So Cambridge 1, Burton 2 is a latest score.
Do you know, I'm talking earlier on there about that right-hand side for Liverpool, and they're having such joy. And there are 3 great players there. But you've got to do something to stop it. And at the moment, there's just no movement in that left-hand side of the Bournemouth defence. They've got to be given some help. But having said that, I think Jurgen Klopp will look at it and think, look, I've found 3 here that can work together brilliantly. And even if you had an extra player over there, it'd probably be hard to stop them anyway, but he's got to try it in the second half. By the way, perfect text this week on Radio 4. It was brilliant. Who are you going to next?
Talking of Radio 4, Test Match Special, of course, it conjures up lots of images and a voice you know very well. Ellie Oldroyd, tea at the cricket.
Yes, 141 for 3 South Africa, so they've gone through the afternoon session without losing a wicket, but Rassie van der Dussen lucky to still be there. There was a ball which went so close to the edge of the bat, nobody appealed. It was not given on the field, but the replay showed that he got a touch to it. It would have been out caught behind, but van der Dussen 41, Peterson 42. They put on 87 together. They've batted really well. 141 for 3 South Africa at tea, 123 behind.
And in the Scottish Premiership, Livingston are down to 10 men. Jack Fitzwater's been sent off at Pataudry. Aberdeen 0, Livingston 0, but Livy are down to 10 men. Bournemouth here 4-0 down on the attack. Cross comes over from the right hand side, Jadon Anthony. Tavernier inside to Christie, side onto goal, loses the ball in the penalty area. Bournemouth now have left themselves open. And it's with Salah over the halfway line. Firmino and Luis Diaz ahead of him. Diagonal ball inside, central area. Firmino running forward, not challenged. Firmino shoots, takes a deflection, forced to save out of Travers, tips it behind low for a corner.
I don't think he caught it absolutely clean, but it was going towards the corner. Keeping hard to save it there. And again, it's a problem that Bournemouth have. They've tried to play 4 or 5 men forward there for the first time in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then as soon as Liverpool break, Salah is lightning, and you know they're going to get a shot on target at the end of it. This time, for once, Travers is able to save it.
Aberdeen have taken full advantage against the 10 men. They now lead Livingston by a goal to nil. Hull City in the Championship lead Coventry City 2-1. You're up to date with the goals as they go in. In the Premier League, Brentford 0, Everton 1. Brighton Leeds United 0-0, as is Chelsea Leicester. Gallagher, though, sent off for the home side. Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2. And 4-0 here to Liverpool. Corner kick near side the left. Robertson to take it. Header comes in. And Virgil van Dijk on the end of it, 12 yards out, plants his header past Mark Travers right on the stroke of half-time. Virgil van Dijk adds a 5th goal. Liverpool are running riot, 5-0.
Yeah, Van Dijk, I mean, he is absolutely brilliant in the air. And the thing is, somebody's got to make some sort of effort to put him off. No one did. Planted on his head, and it was never going to go anywhere else. We're just about at half-time. It's 5-0, and it is in no way flattering to Liverpool that it is 5-0 just now. As we said, this could be anything if Liverpool decide to keep on going at this level for the second half.
He's never lost a Premier League game in a Liverpool shirt for almost 5 years at Anfield, and that statistic is certainly not going to be challenged today. So it will be a question now of 55 wins after today and 12 draws during his time, which is an incredible fact, really. You look at it, Virgil van Dijk, and talking of nearly 5 years, it's 5 goals for Liverpool now. Liverpool 5, Bournemouth 0. Let's get an update from Hull, and that's Prem G.
Hull City 2, Coventry City 1. Oscar Estupiñán a couple of yards out after Simon Moore's error in the away net. Hull 2, Coventry 1.
Stoppage time here at Anfield. The thing is, as well, it could have been so many more.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's in no way flattering to Liverpool. And the frightening thing is, I think there's another gear. I actually think there is another gear for Liverpool. They've been playing that well. They've taken their foot off the gas a couple of times, just drawing Bournemouth on a little bit to them. There seems to be nothing Bournemouth can do at him. I've said it a couple of times now, but I'm just so surprised that they've not adapted it. You lose 2 or 3 goals earlier on, okay, you adapt it, you kill the game a little bit. They haven't done so, and they're getting destroyed every single time that Liverpool Reds go towards it.
Bristol City have equalised at Blackpool. Blackpool 1, Bristol City 1. Wigan have got a goal back in the Championship. Wigan 1, Burnley 2. And it's Harrogate 0, Newport 4, latest score in League 2. Well, Liverpool, Luis Diaz header after 3 minutes. Elliott's first goal in the Premier League 3 minutes later. Alexander-Arnold unleashed a fine effort just before the half hour. Firmino from close range made it 4-3 minutes later. And then a Virgil van Dijk header on the stroke of half-time. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, they're a joy to watch Liverpool when they play like this. They've got 5 goals, do the same in the second half. They could easily get 4 or 5 as well. Lots of brilliant performances. Salah, from the first moment, was superb, but Harvey Elliott, he's just taking it from me. Him working with Salah and Alexander-Arnold have been unstoppable.
And Sutton 1, Mansfield 0, a latest score in League 2. So, half-time, Liverpool 5, Bournemouth 0.
I think we should have sent you to Manchester City.
Easy in hindsight.
Well, Rob Green called himself Captain Hindsight earlier, so yeah, very easy in hindsight. Manchester City losing 2-0 to Crystal Palace at the moment. Half-time whistle hasn't gone there yet. Sheffield Wednesday have just got a 4th at home to Forest Green Rovers. All different goal scorers for them this afternoon, but Lee Gregory has got the 4th. The half-time whistle has gone at Brentford, and the home side, Lee Blakeman, will wonder how they're behind.
Absolutely, Mark. It's been really, really lively, this. Brentford have been on top for the most part, but Everton have the game's only goal. Anthony Gordon not letting the Chelsea speculation affect him, getting on the end of a ball over the top from Connor Cody. Great assist, really tidy finish as well from Gordon into the bottom corner. Brentford, as you say, must be scratching their heads walking down that tunnel, wondering how they've not got at least one, because Jensen and Tony have both at the post. Hickey and Mbermo have both had very near misses, but you know the cliche, Mark, it's goals that count. Brentford 0, Everton 1 at the break.
And Leicester could very well be scratching their heads as well at the bridge. Maz.
Yeah, 10-man Chelsea 0, Leicester 0. Leicester with a really good chance in stoppage time. Cucurella blocked it. He's still on the pitch now, actually requiring treatment, the Chelsea defender. But I wonder what Thomas Tuchel was raiding in from the stands about that first half. A heads in his hand moment, certainly, when Conor Gallagher, already on a yellow, naively fouled Vardy when the Leicester man was off on the the counter. You simply cannot do that one on a caution. He knew he was off before Paul Tierney pulled out the card. That's 2 players sent off for 2 bookable offences in consecutive games now for Chelsea. Before the red card, a great chance for Loftus-Cheek that was blocked. Reece James, after the red card, Chelsea's brightest player, had a shot rebound off the woodwork. At the other end as well, Vardy's had a really good chance as well. Leicester, though, with a goal ruled out as well for a foul on Mendy. So it's all been happening here. But Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
Bottom 2 in League 2 are meeting at Scotland this afternoon on the stroke of half-time. Crawley have taken the lead at Rochdale through Jack Powell. Rochdale bottom. They've lost all 5 so far this season in the league. Goalless at Brighton. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, Brighton 0, Leeds 0. Mark, physical game, lots of tackles and high tempo pressing, but it's Brighton who've caused the problems. Adam Webster header wide from 7 yards, and Solly March denied twice by Melier, the Leeds goalkeeper. Leeds' contribution so far, 3 yellow cards and lots of niggly fouls. Half-time, Brighton 0, Leeds 0.
Halifax are bottom in the National League, and they've fallen further behind at home this afternoon to Notts County. You've got a second on the stroke of half-time. Deja vu, Will Perry?
Yes, Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2. City have been completely dominant, but trail to a Stones own goal after 4 minutes. An Eze free kick took a touch off De Bruyne, then Walker's shoulder, then the knee of Stones past their keeper Ederson. All City, but no shots on target. Palace hardly had a touch, and then another set piece. Eze's corner, met by the head of Anderson, who from 12 yards unmarked found the bottom corner. Haaland and Foland have both come really close, but at the break, chappers, Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2.
In the lunchtime game, Bruno Fernandes got the only goal of the 90 minutes as Manchester United won at Southampton by a 0-0. Into the Scottish Premiership, Rangers' good week continues, Roddy.
Yes, indeed. They're 2-0 up against Ross County at half-time, although they looked a little leggy after their midweek exertions against PSV, which took them into the same Champions League group as Liverpool, of course. Eventually, after 20 minutes, they got underway. Tillman seeing 2 fine efforts blocked, and then John Lundstrom from 22 yards with a shot that took a little deflection into the net. And then Antonio Kolac, the man of the moment, the man who scored against PSV, this time with a spectacular overhead volley, and that is what makes it 2-0 at half-time, but it should be 3. James Tavernier heading off the crossbar.
Elsewhere, Aberdeen lead 10-man Livingston by a 0-0. It's Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 1, and St Mirren lead Hibs by a 0-0 at the end of the first 45. In the Championship earlier, Sunderland, who are going to lose their manager Alex Neil to Stoke, were beaten 1-0 at home by Norwich. Let's start our 3 o'clock roundups at Vicarage Road. Aaron Paul.
Watford 1, QPR 2. What started a touch drab mark has actually turned into quite the contest. Ilias Chair broke the deadlock as his long-range effort took a wicked deflection off of Francisco Giraldo. The home side equalised though. Ken Sema with a delicious finish, opening up his body from close range. Watford went close again then. João Pedro hitting the crossbar from long distance with Seny Dieng miles off his line. But it was QPR who grabbed a second. On the counter, Kenneth Powell supplying at the byline for Chris Willock with a cracking finish. The natives are not happy. At the break, it is Watford 1, QPR 2.
And what we expect to be Alex Neil's new team are ahead at the break. Pat Murphy.
He's watching, he'll be impressed. They're 1-0 up, they deserve it. Rovers booed off the park at the end. All they offered was Dijk, a little chip that was followed by a great covering save by Bonham. The rest of the half has been dominated by Stoke. They haven't mastered Baker. Curling free kick from him, poured away by Kaminski. Then he wasn't picked up, ran from midfield, 25 yards out, nobody on top of him, and Kaminski also should have done better with a shot. Rovers 0, Stoke 1.
Well, we did try to warn you, Laura.
We did. Unfortunately, it's Cardiff 0, Preston 0. John Southall look away. We had this one down as a goalless draw on paper, and Steve Morrison in his technical area has been puffing his cheeks, frustrated at Cardiff's lack of creativity in the final third. The home side dominating, but Preston maintaining that strong defensive record. At half-time, it's Cardiff 0, Preston 0.
And Reading continue to confound their critics, Paul Scott.
Yeah, they're doing well. It's Millwall 0, Reading 1 at half-time, but in truth this is not a great game for the neutral. The only goal of the match coming in the 14th minute. Naby Sarr on his debut with a header at the far post. We've had 1 shot on target for Reading, 1 shot on target for Millwall. That was in the 3rd minute. Tom Bradshaw's header comfortably saved by Joe Lumley. The truth is neither side really are creating much, but half-time it's Millwall 0, Reading 1.
Let's go to Naz That's Premji at Hull.
Hull City 2, Coventry City 1. The home side lead thanks to a brace from their new hero in East Yorkshire, Colombian Oscar Estupiñán. The first after Louis Coyle's cross-come shot was spilled, and his second when Simon Moore, the Coventry keeper, couldn't handle a routine cross. A yard out, the Colombian couldn't miss. That's 6 in 6 now for him. Coventry briefly level through Matty Godden's penalty. As it stands, Hull up to third, Hull City 2, Coventry City 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, it's Blackpool 1, Bristol City 1. Josh Bowler put the home side ahead with his second of the season. Tommy Conway got the equaliser, 5 in all competitions for him now this season. Huddersfield lead West Brom 2-1 at half-time. Faustino Angerin got both goals for Huddersfield. Jed Wallace, their summer signing at the Hawthorns, has pulled one back. Huddersfield 2, West Brom 1. Middlesbrough yet to win this season. They've drawn 3, they've lost 3, but they lead Swansea by 2-0 at half-time. Riley McCree got the first. Matt Crooks' second of the season, doubling the lead. Rotherham lead Birmingham by 1-0 thanks to Richard Wood. And it's Wigan 1, Burnley 2. Burnley went 2-0 up thanks to Jay Rodriguez and Josh Brownhill with his third of the season. Will Keane has pulled one back for Liam Richardson's side from the penalty spot, and that's 2 for him this season. Our featured game in League One is at Pride Park. Chris Coles.
Derby 0, Peterborough 0. Frenetic start, chances are plenty, mainly for Derby. Louis Sibley twice and Tom Barkhuizen with decent opportunities. The opening 10 minutes, a microcosm of Derby's season to date. Create, but can't stick the thing in the net. Peterborough came back into things. Johnson, Clark, Harris missing their best chance. A swivelling turn and shot from the edge of the area. And in first half stoppage time, another glorious Derby chance spurned. Barkhuizen firing straight at the goalkeeper from close range. Signs are good for goals in the second half. Haven't had any in the first, though. Derby 0, Peterborough 0. Elsewhere in League One, Accrington 0, Exeter 0, Bristol 0, Bristol Rovers 0, Shrewsbury 0. It's Cambridge United 1, Burton 2. Burton were 1-0 up through Ghassan Ahadmi's second of the season. They then had John Smith sent off in the 10th minute. That's their second red card this season inside the first 10 minutes of a game. Cambridge United did equalise through Sam Smith, but Burton retook the lead through John Brayford and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank side, who are bottom of the table with just 1 point lead at the break despite being down to 10. It's Cheltenham 0, Oxford 0, Ipswich 1, Barnsley 1. Connor Chaplin's third of the season, putting the home side ahead there. Lincoln lead Fleetwood by 2-1. Teddy Bishop has got both the Lincoln goals, so 3 for the season for him now. Morecambe 0, MK Dons 2. They've lost both their away games of MK Dons. They're 22nd in the table, but they lead today. It's Plymouth 1, Bolton 0. Niall Ennis got that, 2 for the season now for him. Port Vale 0, Portsmouth 1. Sheffield Wednesday 4, Forest Green Rovers 0. And Wickham and Charlton a level at 1-1. Let's find out how the League Two leaders are doing. Charlotte Richardson.
At the break, it's Orient 2, Hartlepool 1. The tone was set when unbeaten Orient were awarded a penalty after just 2 minutes. Charlie Hellman hauled down in the area. George Moncur stepped up to score his second from the spot this season. And despite their dominance, Orient surrendered their lead when Wesley McDonald showed great composure to round both his marker and the keeper to slot the ball home. The hosts regained their advantage when Kelman slipped through the Hartlepool backline to produce a fine, confident finish from a difficult angle. He made it look easy, but trust me, it wasn't. At the break, the league leaders have the advantage. It's Leyton Orient 2, Hartlepool 1.
Elsewhere in League 2, AFC Wimbledon 0, Barrow 1. They're in third at Barrow. Josh Gordon got the goal. He's got 4 for the season now. It's goalless between Bradford and Crewe and Carlisle and Gillingham. Newport have had a slow start to the season, only got their first win in the league last weekend, but they've had an amazing 45 minutes at Harrogate. They lead by 4-0. Omar Bogle's got 2 of those. That takes him to 5 for the season. You've heard Leyton Orient lead Hartlepool 1. Goalless between Northampton and Doncaster. Crawley scored on the stroke of half-time to lead bottom of the table Rochdale by 1-0. Salford 0, Stevenage 0, Stockport 0, Swindon 0. Sutton lead Mansfield by 1-0. Tranmere are 1-0 up on Colchester. And Walsall lead Grimsby by 1-0 thanks to Danny Johnson's 7th of the season in all competitions. In the National League, Boreham-Wood 0, Altrincham 1. Bromley are down to 10 and a goalless with Scunthorpe. Southend lead by 1-0 at Eastleigh. Bottom of the table, Halifax 0, Notts County 2. Gateshead 0, Wealdstone 1. Maidenhead 0, York 1. Goalless between Maidstone and Torquay. Solihull, Morsley, Dorking 2-0, and Dorking are down to 10 in that game. And it's Yeovil 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. In the Scottish Championship this afternoon, Hamilton 0, Arbroath 0, Inverness 0, Morton 0, Partick 2-1 up at home to Wraith, and Queen's Park lead Cove Rangers by a goal to 0. In League One, Alloa 3, Peterhead 0, Dunfermline 0, Airdrieonians 0, Falkirk 2, Queen of the South 0, Edinburgh 1, Clyde 0, and Montrose 1, Kelty Hearts 0. And in League 2, Albion Rovers 1, Annan 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Stirling 0, Elgin are a goal up at Dumbarton, Forfar 0, Stenhousemuir 2, and Stranraer 2, East 5-1. In the Rugby Championship earlier, Australia beat South Africa 25-17. Argentina won 25-18 away to New Zealand. They're at tea at the second test, and South Africa are 141 for 3 in their second innings, trailing by 123 runs. And in the 100, it's London Spirit Oval Invincibles today. The women are first up, and the Spirit are 29 for 3 in their innings. Exactly 4 o'clock. Here's the latest BBC News.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
With the BBC News for 5 Live, I'm Carl Hartley. The government has made it clear it will not announce a fresh package of support for people struggling with energy bills until after a new Prime Minister is chosen. Calls for immediate assistance have grown since the announcement yesterday of an 80% rise in the energy cap from October. Police in Liverpool have issued a fresh appeal for any information about the killing of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell, who was shot at her home earlier this week. 2 men aged 33 and 36 have been arrested on suspicion of murder. The UK is sending underwater drones to Ukraine to clear its coastlines of mines in an effort to help the flow of grain to the rest of the world. Downing Street has accused Moscow of weaponising food by destroying Ukrainian agriculture and blockading the country's Black Sea ports to prevent shipments. And aid agencies say the floods sweeping Pakistan are turning into one of the worst disasters the country has ever faced. Hundreds of thousands of people have lost their homes and livelihoods. There's more on the BBC News website.
BBC Sounds.
My castaway is the singer and songwriter Adele.
I was like, I just need to do something normal.
Bono.
I've been known as Bono since I was 14, 15 years old.
Kate Moss.
I get comfortable after the first picture.
Well-known faces telling unknown stories.
This is excruciatingly embarrassing.
I'm a sad person, and I don't always know why.
It reminds me of every happy moment.
Desert Island Discs with Lauren Laverne. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Just remind you of the Premier League scores then earlier. Manchester United beat Southampton by a goal to 0. Everton are 1 up at Brentford. It's Brighton 0, Leeds 0. Chelsea are down to 10. Conor Gallagher sent off and a goalless with Leicester. Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2 at the Etihad. And at Anfield, where they're about to get back underway, Liverpool 5, Bournemouth 0. Here's Mark.
Thank you, Ian.
It's just wrong, isn't it?
Fabio Carvalho is coming on to replace Harvey Elliott. Liverpool making a change at the start of the second half, and Bournemouth have made a change as well. They've brought on Philip Billing into their midfield, and just looking at it, I think it's Jadon Anthony who is the player has gone off as we are back underway, and Liverpool leading by 5 goals to 0. Yes, we'll still give you as much commentary as we can, but we're obviously going to keep you busy with the other stories that are around, not just in the Premier League, but notably, of course, at the Etihad, where it's still Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2, Chelsea down to 10 men, drawing with Leicester City 0-0, and lots of other stories as well, as we'll keep you busy on this Saturday afternoon before Sports Report. So Liverpool all in red, playing from left to right, already in front of the Kop. Alexander-Arnold delivers a cross. Henderson with a knockdown header, cleared away by the Bournemouth defence, only as far as Salah, and it was Gomez who hits the ball in. So this scoreline already equals Bournemouth's record Premier League defeats, and they've just conceded another one. Cross came in from the right by Alexander-Arnold, and it was an outstretched leg by Chris Mepham. He was conscious of the presence of Luis Diaz. It will go down as a Bournemouth own goal. The worst possible start to the second half. Bournemouth conceding more goals. It is going to be a record Premier League defeat for them here today. Already, Liverpool are leading 6-0.
I'm just watching, they changed their system there. I was going to say that's really sensible. They went 5-4-1. They're going to try and keep it really tight for the first. Never got the phrase out, and the ball's in the middle there. And again, there's a little bit of pressure at the back. You know what Trent Alexander-Arnold does? He puts it in that dangerous area. Question mark about offside. I think they will check that though. But in the defender puts it in his own goal there. To be honest, it's a good finish. Sadly to the wrong side, but they will check it. There's maybe a question mark. But running in beside him, and right behind him, Luis Diaz might have been offside. We're going to have a look.
VAR
never touched the ball, but
No, yeah, VAR having a look for a possible offside. So that once again is down to Craig Pawson. There are no other goals to tell you about just as yet early in the second half. But there has been a goal at Stamford Bridge. Mas Faruqi.
A first in Chelsea colours for Raheem Sterling. Chelsea 1, Leicester City 0. It took a deflection as it went past Danny Ward in the Leicester goal into the top right-hand corner. But it counts. 10 men Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
What doesn't help is that on the monitor that we're looking at, because of the sunshine and the shadows of the Kop, very, very hard to actually pick out what they're looking at for the offside.
Well, it's impossible for us to see, but I'm sure it is. Diaz at the back post there, and whether it was involved. We're looking at a secondary angle now. If they're looking at a secondary angle, then, well, it shouldn't be a problem. I still think the primary angle was the problem. And they're taking their time.
Goal stands. Goal stands. He's had a look at that, has Craig Pawson. It's Liverpool 6, Bournemouth 0, and we're getting close to what would be Liverpool's record Premier League win. That was 7-0 against Crystal Palace in December 2020. And of course, the overall biggest win in the Premier League is 9. And the way that Liverpool have played today, you wouldn't rule that out, Pat.
No, you absolutely wouldn't rule it out. And the fact that there's so little confidence in the defence that they're up against just now. And of course, the small matter is they're actually shooting into the Kop now.
There's been a wicket at the cricket. Ellie.
Yes, we went through the whole afternoon session without one. Just after tea, Ben Stokes, the captain, strikes to remove Rassie van der Dussen. He's been playing with an injured finger, van der Dussen. He's done really well. 87 they put on for this fourth wicket, but he is out, and will we see a tumble of South African wickets now? 141 for 4. They trail by 123.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Regular updates with Ellie throughout the course of the afternoon. 5 live in the World Service here in the sunshine at Anfield. The early kickoffs, the results: Southampton 0, Manchester United 1, Sunderland 0, Norwich City 1. Latest scores in the Premier League: Brentford 0, Everton 1, Brighton and Leeds United remains goalless. Chelsea lead Leicester City by a goal to 0 despite being down to 10 men, and still Manchester City 0, Crystal Palace 2. As the ball is played out to that far side, the left for Liverpool. I'll run through the two teams for you. Alisson in goal, a back four of Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson. Midfield three of Henderson, Fabinho and Carvalho. And a front three of Salah, Firmino and Luis Diaz. Bournemouth are all in black. They have Travers in goal, Smith, Senesi, Mepham and Zamora at the back. They have Tavernier, Lerma, Cook and Billing with Christie and Kiefer Moore. Liverpool leading Bournemouth by 6 goals to 0. Liverpool on the attack. Luis Diaz with a cross over the head of Carvalho. Luis Diaz with the delivery, comes out to Alexander-Arnold, low ball in, loops up in the air. Bournemouth on the stretch, eventually get the ball away to Brighton. Sahel Sahi.
Still Brighton 0, Leeds 0. 4 minutes played in this second half, but good work from Brighton. Good start to the second half. Down the left-hand side, and Gross was just wide, about 6 yards away. One of these sides could go top at 5 p.m. if they win, Ian. Brighton 0, Leeds 0.
Stockport County 0, Swindon 1 is the latest score in League 2. The results and the reaction in Sports Report with Mark Chapman. And at 5 o'clock, Luis Diaz has done wonderfully well. Firmino across the face of goal. That must have just shaved the far right-hand post. Liverpool close to a 7th. But of course the story will be at the Etihad. Will Perry.
Yeah, where De Bruyne now puts it across. Here's Haaland, who looks to get to the ball first, and it's a good touch from Guehi, who gets rid of it. And Julian Alvarez having a pretty intense conversation on the sidelines with Pep Guardiola. Won't be long, I don't think, before we see him. But City trailing Palace by 2-0.
Commentary to come at 5:30 from Arsenal against Fulham. Arsenal, the leaders this morning, the only side with a 100% winning record. John Murray and Charlie Adam bringing you commentary from the Emirates. What about that latest chance, Pat?
It's 6-0 just now. They've scored 1 in the second half. They should have scored 3. And I was just thinking tonight, you get 10 minutes of highlights. They'll be able to fit in all the goals, but there's no chance that all the clear-cut chances that Liverpool made will be shown tonight.
Well, Firmino, who earlier had scored his first goal at Anfield in the Premier League since Tottenham, December 2020. His last 11 goals in the Premier League had all been away from home, and he was close to getting a second there, as Liverpool already leading by 6-0. As for Everton, they're at Brentford. Lee Blakeman.
I have no idea how Brentford haven't scored in this game. Still Brentford 0, Everton 1, but they've just hit the frame of the goal, Brentford, for a third time. Acrobatic overhead, Norgard 10 yards out, and it came crashing off the crossbar. Is there ever going to be a Brentford goal this afternoon? Still Brentford 0, Everton 1 somehow.
Gavin Buckland, who is the Everton historian, had tweeted during the week it was the first top-flight season since 1911-12 that Everton and Liverpool had both failed to win their first league games. That season Everton finished second. Liverpool actually failed to win their first 5 that particular season, but it could be a Merseyside double in the Premier League today, as Carvalho, right hand side, attacking the Kop, gets it back from Alexander-Arnold, and Liverpool are forced away from the penalty area. Will nip back to Stamford Bridge as the ball goes out of play for a goal kick. Maz Farouki, Chelsea-Leicester.
Still Chelsea 1, Leicester 0, but there's a great chance for a second for Sterling. Havertz set Chelsea away on the counter. Sterling's shot bounced off the post. Still 10-man Chelsea 1, Leicester 0.
Featured game in League One at Derby. There's been a red card. Chris Coles.
To Peterborough down to 10 men, still 0-0, but Nathan Thompson walking off. He's been waved off by the Derby fans. 2 yellow cards, 1 in the first half for a shirt pull, the second one bringing down Conor Hourihan on the edge of the penalty area. 0-0, but Peterborough down to 10 men.
Another goal in a featured game in League Two. Charlotte Richardson.
Yeah, Leyton Orient have started the second half exactly how they began the game as well, by scoring courtesy of Paul Smith. His first effort on target was smothered by goalkeeper Ben Kiddup. He made no mistake with the second, slotting the ball home into the back of an empty net. Leyton Orient 3, Hartlepool 1.
No other goals to tell you about elsewhere. Bournemouth have got a free kick on this near side. Penny for the thoughts of Scott Parker, 50th league game in charge. He was the last manager actually to win here in the Premier League, March 2021, when Fulham, with Lamina the only goal, won by a 1-0. Fulham. Since then, Liverpool have won 18 and drawn 6 as they're unbeaten in 24. That will certainly go to an undefeated run of 25 as they're handsomely in control here. Tavernier with an arcing free kick in, and the chance of a consolation for Jefferson Lerma, heads it wide, goal kick Pat Nevin.
Yeah, as a half chance there, he should get it on target. It's possibly not less. It's not going to the man they wanted to go to. With Dominic Solanke on the pitch now, they would have hoped he would have been at the back post and he could have maybe getting the end of it. But that's one little half a chance. But you do suspect that they're not going to get too many chances, Bournemouth. They are not committing players forward unless they have a set piece at this point in time. In Liverpool, just having a little rest for a moment.
6:06 tonight after our next commentary with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. I'm sure Chris Sutton would like to hear from Sunderland fans in particular about Alex Neil's decision to leave the Stadium of Light. 08085 909 693. As there's been another goal at Watford in the Championship. Aaron Paul.
Watford 2, QPR 2 this time. It's a goal for João Pedro, who's wrestled the ball off a QPR defender, taken advantage, some really slack Rangers defending, and has lashed the ball into the far corner. Watford 2, QPR 2.
6-0 to Liverpool. Manchester City still trail 2-0 at home to Crystal Palace, as Liverpool from left to right have it now with Jordan Henderson. Carvalho back to Fabinho. Perfect opportunity to give Carvalho a sustained run out for this second half, replacing the excellent Harvey Elliott, such is the nature of the scoreline for Jurgen Klopp. The games will continue to come thick and fast over the next few weeks, with the Champions League set to resume. Now there's been a goal at the Etihad. Will Perry.
It's now Manchester City 1, Crystal Palace 2. Bernardo Silva allowed to cut inside onto his left foot, took a little nick off the Crystal Palace defender and bobbled past Vicente Gaeta in the Crystal Palace net. Alvarez and Gundogan coming on for City. City 1, Palace 2.
Thank you, Will. We'll keep you up to date. Just looking at Solanke's come onto the field of play whilst we've been away. The former Liverpool player, 30 goals he scored last season, his best season yet for the England international, and the player he's come on for is Ryan Christie. So another change being made for.
You can see the reason for that, Deno, because you want physicality when the balls have been played into the box. So you've got Billing with his physique, you've got Solanke with his physique. They can break forward now and again, but really defensively, when there's crosses coming in, you want those big lads in there to make sure that there are no more easy headers. There have been far too many of them so far.
Wigan are going to be losing their unbeaten run, it would seem. They've now conceded a third goal. Wigan 1, Burnley 3, and you would think that Burnley are on course for their first win in 5 in the Championship. Talking of East Lancashire, Blackburn, Pat Murphy.
Stoke still lead 1-0 and they deserve to do so, but through Baker in the first half. But they've got to head the steam up now, Rovers. They made a couple of substitutions at half-time. The crowd are on their side now. Tricky period this for Stoke, who lead Blackburn 1-0.
Saw Blackburn in midweek. They made 10 changes in the League Cup. Certainly John Dahl Thomason has some promising youngsters coming up through the ranks. Tyler Morton, who's on loan from Liverpool, actually played as a centre-back in that game as Liverpool win the ball towards Salah. Just couldn't take it in his stride.
Well done, Mo Salah. Very well done. He could have made a meal of that, and that would have been a possible sending off there. And he just tumbled over. I think he was probably touched as well, but got on his feet, and I think he saved a fellow pro there.
Was it Lerma who had made the challenge? Carlisle 1, Gillingham 0. Carlisle without a win in 4 in League 2, leading at Brunton Park. Paul Simpson's team. BBC Radio 5 Live. Liverpool leading by 6-0. Tomorrow, 5 Live Premier League Sunday from midday. Aston Villa West Ham at 2, followed by Nottingham Forest Tottenham at 4:30. The Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman at 7. Tuesday we're at Ellen Road, Leeds Everton. Wednesday Liverpool Newcastle. Thursday Leicester City Manchester United. Thursday night on transfer deadline day. Cambridge 2, Burton 2, Blackpool 2, Bristol City 1. And Huddersfield 2, West Bromwich Albion 2. Steve Bruce's side were 2-0 down, but they've now got it back to 2-2 in West Yorkshire, as Bournemouth, in front of that travelling support from the south coast. That would have been a good 6 hours journey, I would have thought, from Bournemouth, have a corner kick on this near side.
And they've all stayed, Deno, which is nice of them when they're 6-0 down.
Yeah, they have stayed. Very, very loyal. Corner kick to Bournemouth, and it goes to the near post, headed out by Henderson. Another wicket at the cricket. Ellie.
Yeah, Ben Stokes has taken 2 since tea in consecutive overs from him, and Keegan Peterson is out. A really good partnership, really good batting performance by Peterson and Van der Dusen, but Stokes has got them both 151 for 5 South Africa now. They're still 113 behind.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra here at Anfield in the sunshine. Cook loses the ball. Fabinho plays it forward. Just a little bit of Henderson. Tries to nick it away from Zamora, the left back, who now can come forward over the halfway line. A rare foray, Pat, for Bournemouth into Liverpool territory.
There's a little bit more danger about them going forward up this left-hand side. The 2 substitutes, Billing and Solanke, they've actually worked together. What would Dominic Solanke do to get a goal here at Anfield? He would love that.
Yeah, he didn't have, I think it was 1 goal in 27 appearances when they signed him, Liverpool. Of course, he'd probably been a product of Chelsea's youth system. He had a loan spell at Vitesse Arnhem. Sheffield Wednesday 5, Forest Green 0 is the latest score in League One, and Aberdeen have got another goal against the 10 men of Livingston in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen 2, Livingston 0.
I love a lot about humour in football. The Bournemouth fans are shouting "Ole" as they pass the ball just now at 6-0 down.
And now they've got themselves a throw in front of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand on that far side, the right. There's been another goal at Ibrox, Roddy Forsyth.
And it's another goal for Rangers and another goal for Antonio Colak after excellent work by Tillman and Kent to set them up all on mark, 18 yards. Rangers 3, Ross County 0, and it's almost on the hour.
Thank you, Roddy. 6-0 here to Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold sprays the ball forward. Salah, good scoring record he's got against Bournemouth, wants to get in on the act. He enters the penalty area right-hand side now, attacking the Kop end. But Lerma back there helping out, slides to his knees, ushers the ball behind for a corner kick. Corner kick to Liverpool, still hungry for more goals.
Yeah, desperate. And of course, you know Mo Salah, in each season he wants to be a top goal scorer, so he will not give up here at all. And I suspect if he's hooked at some point to rest him, he probably won't be happy, because there are more goals out there if he wants them.
Corner kick, pulled back. Robertson with a curling effort. Travers with a save. Double save, still around. Firmino from close range makes it 7. It could well be a record equaling win in the Premier League for Liverpool. And Roberto Firmino bags a brace as Liverpool have got a 7th goal against a hapless Bournemouth.
Did I mention there's more goals here? About 2 seconds before. Look, that's not been clever. Every time they've attacked, every time they put a cross in, they've looked all over the place. And goalkeeper Travers there, he didn't really look that comfortable, did he? When the ball was played in there, really not comfortable. Okay, there's a player in front of him, but you don't handle the ball straight out in front of you. It's not good goalkeeping there. In the end, it's a tap in for Firmino. They won't get many easier goals than that.
Well, stand by for the record books to be potentially ripped up today. 3 times the side has scored and beaten the opposition 9-0 in the Premier League. And for Bournemouth, their all-time record defeat is actually 9-0. And in fact, that was Harry Redknapp. It was his first game in management. He was the caretaker manager replacing Dave Webb back in 1982. And Bournemouth on that day lost 9-0 to Lincoln City. When you're 7-0 down with still just under half an hour to go, you'd fear the worst.
Especially, as I say, at the Kop end, and if Liverpool want to go and push it forward. And as I said, I don't think they're firing all cylinders right now, Liverpool. I think there are, I said gears, there's gears, plural, that they could go through from here just now. And the problem that the Bournemouth have got, there's just a lot of players out there that want to fill their boots because they want to get in the scoring list. So they're not taking it easy yet.
One man in particular, Mo Salah, 8 goals in his previous 6 games against Bournemouth. He wants to get in on the act. Cheltenham 1, Oxford United 0 is the latest score in League One. Hull 3, Coventry 1 will go to Naz after we've been to Maz.
Second goal for Chelsea, a second goal for Raheem Sterling, a simple tap in for him at the left-hand post. Also some lovely work down the right-hand side from Reece James in the build-up. 10-man Chelsea 2, Leicester 0.
Here he is, here's Naz.
Hull City 3, Coventry 1, the new hero of East Yorkshire, Oscar Estepina with a hat-trick. He couldn't miss from a couple of yards out. Hull 3, Coventry 1.
Liverpool are going to be making a change, and we're going to see a youngster coming on here by the name of Stefan Bajcetic, who is a 17-year-old. He can either play in the central defence or midfield, and his father, Serdan, used to play for Celta Vigo and Red Star. He was out on the Asia Tour, started against Salzburg, and so he's going to be coming on. They signed him from Celta Vigo in February 2021. It's going to be a Liverpool debut for Bajcetic. We're going to see James Milner coming on as well as we go back to Manchester City and Will Perry.
Where here's Foden just inside the box, touch with the left foot, cross to Haaland! And there is the equaliser from 2-0 down. Manchester City are level, 4 goals in 4 games for Erling Haaland. And they finally made those substitutions as well. Manchester City, Alvarez and Gundogan replacing Cancelo and Mahrez. And City all level, but they'll be looking for 3 points. City 2, Palace 2.
Yeah, they will. 25 minutes remain. Liverpool yet to make a change. The points are secure, whilst Manchester City are going for 3 points. Liverpool have already bagged those 3 points. They're just going for goals here at Anfield. 5 Live. Still to come, commentary of Arsenal Fulham at 5:30 after Sports Report. Liverpool playing from left to right in all red. Corner kick right hand side. Alexander-Arnold to take it. There are 5 red shirts to aim for in the penalty area. Salah waits just outside the box. It goes towards Van Dijk and it's headed behind for another corner pack.
Yep, Van Dijk gets up the back post there. He did have 3 players around him, but he's still got a clean header there. I mean, those players that are coming on now, they must be thinking the same thing. A chance to score goals in front of the Kop end. They will get opportunities.
Alexander-Arnold with the corner. Van Dijk climbs. Travers catches the ball inside his 6-yard area. BBC Radio 5 Live in the World Service. So Manchester City have come from 2-0 down to 2-2. Chelsea lead Leicester City by 2-0. Brighton 0, Leeds 0, Brentford 0, Everton 1, and a goal now at Derby in League One. Chris Coles.
And how about this? 10-man Peterborough have the lead. Derby 0, Peterborough 1. Josh Knight, the second half sub at the back post. Jack Marriott found him with a stooping header, and Knight tapped in. Peterborough down to 10 men, but they lead Derby at Pride Park by a 0-0.
Derby County, who previously won all 3 at home this season. Cheltenham 1, Oxford United 1 is the latest score in League One. Bristol City have equalised at Blackpool. Blackpool 2, Bristol City 2 is a latest score. And Aberdeen have got a 4th against the 10 men of Livingston in the Scottish Premiership. You're up to date with the goals as they go in here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Not quite. Another goal at Stamford Bridge. Maz Faruqi.
Leicester pulled one back. Some lovely work from Harvey Barnes. A really great finish at a tight angle on the left-hand side of a good one too with Jamie Vardy. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1.
Going to be a triple change being made by Jurgen Klopp here at Anfield. MK Dons have got a 4th, Morecambe 0, MK Dons 4, and Rochdale have equalised. Rochdale 1, Crawley 1 is the latest score in League 2. There's now been a goal, deadlock broken at the Amex. Sahel Sahi.
And finally the Brighton fans will say it's about time. After 66 minutes, Brighton leads by a 0-0. Well worked from left to right, and it fell to Gross inside the area, and he didn't dare miss. Brighton 1, Leeds 0.
Both of those two sides unbeaten going into today's game. Brighton enjoying an excellent start to the campaign. That would actually take them top, albeit only for a couple of hours. But they would go a point ahead of Arsenal, who of course the only side with a 100% winning record so far, and they take on Fulham at home in the 5:30 game live on BBC Radio 5 Live. Pat Nevin.
Yep, Liverpool trying to make that triple change. They've been trying to do it for about 5 minutes now. I think they'll finally get a chance to do that, and a little bit of blessed relief if you're a Bournemouth player, a Bournemouth fan, or indeed the Bournemouth manager. Maybe a couple of youngsters coming on, well, one anyway. Tsimikas is coming on for James Milner. I don't think we can call him a youngster, can we?
So Tsimikas will come on for Andrew Robertson. That will be like for like at left back. Roberto Firmino, who's got a couple of goals, unable to grab himself a 3rd Liverpool hat-trick today. He will make way. And then the other player to come off is going to be Jordan Henderson, I think. Jordan Henderson is going to make way on his 400th Premier League appearance of his career. I don't think he's actually seen the board yet as Jordan. Yeah. And that would be Stefan Bajcetic, who's going to be coming on.
A good chance to see Bajcetic playing, and I mean, if you're coming on for a team, the joy of coming on in a home game when you're 7-0 up with absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Perfect.
So Jordan Henderson, on his 400th Premier League appearance of his career, makes way. And on comes the teenager Stefan Bajcetic to make his debut here for Liverpool.
And he gets a great welcome from those Liverpool fans, and I'm real desperate to see how they play. I mean, just noticing the number of players that have come on now. Cavalier's come on, he's done some really neat, nice little play, and he's fitted in well. It's one of the things about Liverpool, when they bring a player in, it's amazing how often they just slot in easily.
Let's get an update from the cricket with Ellie.
And South Africa 157 for 5. They're still 107 behind in those 2 crucial wickets since tea. Both caught behind by Ben Foakes off the bowling of Ben Stokes, starring with the bat yesterday, starring with the ball and the gloves today, and an unplayable delivery, particularly to get rid of Keegan Peterson. If you want to watch them again, they're on the BBC Sport website, the live text pages. But England having another sniff at getting victory by the end of today, or certainly early tomorrow morning. South Africa still 107 behind, 157 for 5.
Thank you, Ellie. Commentary on Sports Extra. No, the goals elsewhere. Liverpool here leading 7-0. Ball seen out behind for a goal kick. Just thinking about it, said Bacetic, because he was signed from Celta Vigo, but if you think Serdan with his Serbian heritage, it's probably Stefan Bacetic.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Why are you asking me? There's a fairly good chance. It's interesting when players come in and they almost anglicise some of the games sometimes, but we shall find out soon enough. Just interesting to see where he fits into the side there. Who plays up front? Luis Diaz he's gone up front in the central forward position. Salah stayed on the right hand side, and let's get a little chance for Carvalho to play in the left.
19 minutes remain here at Anfield in the sunshine. Liverpool still leads 7-0. Brentford 0, Everton 1. Brighton 1, Leeds 0. Chelsea down to 10 men, lead Leicester by 2-1. And just as last weekend, Manchester City fighting back and hauling back a 2-goal deficit. Will Perry.
68 minutes gone. Erling Haaland now on the ball after KDB played him through, and De Bruyne with a free kick which came to nothing just before that. But it's Manchester City who seem to have gone up a couple of gears since that equaliser, and that equaliser, by the way, Erling Haaland's 134th goal in 135 games for clubs and country. City 2, Palace 2.
Erling Haaland, who in the Champions League draw on Thursday will have a reunion with his former club Borussia Dortmund. So many stories that came out from that Champions League. It will be comprehensively covered on BBC Radio 5 Live. Brentford-Everton, Lee Blakeman.
Brentford 0, Everton 1. Couple of great chances for Brentford to equalise. Vitaly Janelt's just nearly scored a header with his first touch. Brilliant save by Pickford, low down to his left. That just moments after Mbeumo put a curler wide of the top corner from the edge of the area. 18 to play. Brentford 0, Everton 1.
Northampton and Doncaster both unbeaten in League 2, but it's Doncaster who've just taken the lead. Northampton 0, Doncaster 1, and Burton down to 10 men are back in front. Cambridge United 2, Burton 3 in League 1. 5 Live in the World Service here, and Liverpool playing from left to right. Now with Carvalho in from that left touch line to Luis Diaz, stopped by Billing. When you're a manager and you've suffered a heavy defeat like this, what do you take out of it?
You take out of it as another game very soon. You try and say to them, same thing. Constantly you will say, it's only 3 points, get on with the next one. If you win the next game, it's forgotten.
It was 2-0 to Crystal Palace, then it was 2-2. There's now been a 5th goal. Will Perry.
It's been coming. It's Manchester City 3, Crystal Palace 2, and Erling Haaland has his 2nd of the afternoon. It's the simplest goal that he'll score. It's a tap-in after great work from Bernardo Silva, and there was Haaland, just to tap it past Vicente Gaeta. We've still got 20 minutes to go. It's City 3, Palace 2.
Blackpool 2, Bristol City 3 is the latest score in the Championship. Pat says Bournemouth will have another game. That is right. They come very, very quickly. Wolves at home on Wednesday. A chance to dust themselves down for a beleaguered Bournemouth, as Trent Alexander-Arnold on the attack right-hand side delivers the cross. That was blocked by Senesi at the back there for Bournemouth. Another goal at Millwall in the Championship. Paul Scott.
Well, it's been disallowed. It's Millwall 0, Reading 1. Still a triple change from Gary Rowett to try and inject some urgency into this match, to try and ignite it. The home side have offered very, very little. They've just had a goal disallowed. They're back in it. Millwall 0, Reading 1.
Mo Salah here inside the 6-yard area, left-footed, has somehow blazed the ball over the bar. He seems destined not to score against the team he loves scoring against.
He's actually had a tap in with his right foot that he missed from 2 yards in the first half. Then he's through 1-1 with a goalkeeper on his left foot, and he's lashed it over the bar. Who is that? Is that Mo Salah's brother down there?
Arsenal Fulham to follow Sports Report with commentary from the Emirates. Charlie Adam and John Murray, who has the team news.
Yes, and with it, news of a setback for Arsenal, because the early leaders have lost both Partey and Zinchenko to injuries yesterday afternoon. So Arteta makes his first 2 team changes of the season. El Neni and Tierney come in for them. Unbeaten Fulham make 1 change to their last league team. Cabano's back from injury, replacing the teenager Stansfield.
Thank you, John. Ipswich 2, Barnsley 1. The League One leaders are back in front. Kilmarnock have equalised at Rugby Park in the Scottish Premiership. Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 1. Hull City 3, Coventry 2 is now latest in the Championship. and there's been a sending off. Oxford have had Billy Bowden sent off. They're drawing 1-1 away at Cheltenham. Aaron Paul's had another goal at Vicarage Road.
Watford 2, QPR 3. Again, QPR sting on the counter-attack. Ball in from the left. It was missed by Chair. There was a slip from a defender, and there was the man they call Uncle Albert Adoma, to lash past the goalkeeper in off the post. Watford 2, QPR 3.
Hartlepool have got a goal back. Leyton Orient 3, Hartlepool 2, Rotherham 2, Birmingham City 0 is the latest in the Championship. Alexander-Arnold waiting to take a throw in front of the Kop. Liverpool leading 7-0 against Bournemouth, and Liverpool go all the way back to Alisson. I told you about that goal at Hull City. Details from Naz.
Hull City 3, Coventry 2. Matt Godden, corner flicked in and tapped in by Godden to give them a little bit of hope. Hull City 3, Coventry City 2.
Alexander-Arnold outside of the right boot, finds Salah, rolls away from his man in the penalty area. Mepham behind, knocks it behind for a corner kick. 7-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely willing Salah to get a goal of the Kop there. Time and again, he's making the runs. He's desperate. I think he'd be slightly mildly embarrassed if they win 7 or 8-0 and he doesn't get on the score sheet. It'd be absolutely stunning if that happened.
In fact, it didn't take a deflection at all. It's gone out for a goal kick. Bournemouth are going to make a change. Ben Pearson is going to be coming on, and it's going to be Lewis Cook who's coming off. While the change happens, latest score in the Scottish Premiership, Aberdeen 4, Livingston 0, Livy down to 10 men. Kilmarnock 1, Motherwell 1, Rangers 3, Ross County 0, St Mirren 1, Hibs 0 are the latest scores in Scotland. Bristol Rovers have just taken the lead in League One at home to Shrewsbury, 1-0, like for like in many ways. Pearson coming on for Lewis Cook in the Bournemouth midfield. Back to Stamford Bridge, Maz Faruqi.
Still Chelsea 2, Leicester 1, and Ndidi has gone close with a shot from the D though, and then one just wide of the right hand post as Leicester fight for the equaliser. Inevitably they're seeing the ball as well, a lot more with a man advantage, but they still trail 2-1.
Latest scores in League 2, Wimbledon 0, Barrow 1, Bradford and Crewe is 0-0 at Valley Parade, Carlisle 1, Gillingham 0, Harrogate 0, Newport County 4, Leyton Orient 3, Hartlepool 2. Leyton Orient of course the leaders. Hartlepool still yet to win under their new manager Paul Hartley. Northampton 0, Doncaster Rovers 1, Rochdale 1, Crawley 1. Rochdale bottom of the table and yet to win. Salford 0, Stevenage 0, Stockport 0, Swindon 1, Sutton 1, Mansfield Town 0, Tranmere lead Colchester by a goal to 0, and it's Walsall 1, Grimsby Town 0. And here we've got a player who's down.
Yeah, I don't even think it was a foul. He tried to actually go and turn and volley the ball away, but he's caught the studs of one of the Liverpool defenders there. And there's a lot of pain there, hopefully on his shin pad when it happened.
Whilst there's a stoppage in play, Liverpool leading 7-0. Let's get news of that Hartlepool penalty from Charlotte.
Hello, you join me now as Leyton Orient have just regained their lead. Moments ago, Josh Shamira brought Hartlepool back into this game, but Orient, they're at the top of the division for a reason. And Raul Sartori, the substitute for the hosts, has just put them ahead. Goals going on here. It's Leyton Orient 4, Hartlepool 2.
Leyton Orient 4, Hartlepool United 2. I'll give you the latest scores in League 1. Accrington 0, Exeter 0, Bristol Rovers lead Shrewsbury 1-0, Cambridge 3, Burton 3. Burton, remember, were down to 10 men in the 10th minute when Johnny Smith was sent off. Cheltenham 1, Oxford 1. Billy Bowden dismissed for Oxford, seeing out the last 16 minutes with 10 men. Derby 0, Peterborough, who also had Nathan Thompson sent off, but it's Peterborough who lead 1-0 there at Derby. The leaders Ipswich lead Barnsley 2-1, Lincoln 2, Fleetwood 1, Morecambe 0, MK Dons 4. Morecambe still without a win. Plymouth lead Bolton by a goal to 0. Port Vale 0, Portsmouth 1. Sheffield Wednesday 5, Forest Green 0, Wickham 1, Charlton 1. Let's get an update from Brentford. Still yet to resume here. Lee Blakeman.
Brentford have just had a penalty appeal waved away. They trail Everton 1-0. Alex Iwobi, arm out. It went to VAR. No penalty was the shout. We've got 11 to play. Brentford 0, Everton 1.
Brighton leads, Sahel Sahi.
Brighton leads by a goal to 0. 12 minutes to play here, and apart from the goal, the biggest cheer of the afternoon has gone for Jesse Marsh, the Leeds manager. He picked up a booking, Ian. Brighton leads by a goal to 0.
We'll have commentary from Ellen Road on Tuesday night. Leeds United against Everton, a busy night of midweek action in the Premier League. Liverpool looking for an 8th goal. Here is Carvalho! And Carvalho on the volley, right-footed, cracks the ball past Travers. It's a record Premier League win for Liverpool, and it's a first goal for the former player, Fabio Carvalho, in front of the Kop end. Liverpool 8, Bournemouth 0.
you sometimes take the brilliance for granted when you come to Anfield. Ball played from the right back position. It's a 60, 70 yard ball right onto Tsimikas, his left foot there. He plays it first time back, and it's a volley by Cavallo. Since Cavallo has come on, it has to be said, every touch he's had, the Liverpool fans have been purring. They have loved the way he's held the ball. He's very young. I think he's only 19 years of age, but he fits in here perfect. He's only been on for half of the game. He scored his goal, but he's a player for the future who's going to do incredibly well for Liverpool. This is also pure torture for anyone from Bournemouth. This is horrible to watch, and as we've said all along, every time Liverpool attack, Liverpool's never going to score.
You'd appreciate the technique though, I'd imagine, Pat, that right-footed volley.
Well, the technique in the volley was brilliant from Cavallo, but it's every touch that he's had since he comes on. You know, there's no look passes all over the place. You know, when he gets the ball, his players around him, he's got utter comfort of everything that's around him. To be fair, he's going to walk in, and if you put him in any position in this Liverpool front line, and maybe even midfield as well, he will look at home. He is that good.
To compound Bournemouth's misery, the substitute Ben Pearson appears to have picked up a knock, so he actually is now hobbling off down the tunnel. So the substitute has been substituted, and it's Moncandes who's come on to replace him in this second half with 8 minutes remaining, and there's going to be another change being made. Chris Mepham is going to be coming off, and it's going to be Owen Bevan who's going to be coming on, a 19-year-old defender, to make his debut for Bournemouth in the closing stages here at Anfield, with his side 8-0 down. Manchester City were 2-0 down. They've turned it around. Will Perry.
12 of the 19 to play. Manchester City 3, Crystal Palace 2. They've got a corner, and Haaland came close to a hat-trick a couple of minutes ago. A glancing header wide from a Foden cross. Elise and Mateta on for Ayew and Klein for Palace. City 3, Palace 2.
And here we're going to have another debutant. If you remember the former Newcastle United midfielder Lee Clark, well, his son Bobby is coming on to make his Liverpool debut. He's been on the bench the last 2 games. Bobby Clark, a 17-year-old midfielder. He joined from Newcastle in 2021. Many an occasion I've been sat here and Lee's just been sat up, probably with Bobby, away towards our right-hand side over our right shoulders. Well, what a proud moment this is for the Clark family. So Bobby Clark coming on to make his debut here with 7 minutes of normal time remaining, and another goal at Ibrox for Roddy.
Anything Liverpool can do twice, Rangers can do once. Stephen Davis with a side foot from a driven cross, 12 yards out, makes it Rangers 4, Ross County 0, 10 to go.
We have got 7 minutes remaining of normal time. Still got to give you the latest scores in the Championship. But Liverpool's previous best in the Premier League in terms of a record win was against Crystal Palace, December 2020. That has been eclipsed. Don't think they'll actually get their record league win, which was against Rotherham Town in 1899 when they won 10-1. But you never know, if they could just bag a couple here in the closing stages. It's still amazing to think that they've scored 8 goals and Salah
hasn't scored, no.
Isn't on the score sheet.
And by the way, should have had 2, maybe 3 goals himself, and other players have had great chances as well, and it is 8 going on 10, 11, 12. And as I keep on saying, I'm not sure they're playing at 100% yet. There will be more chances. There's 7 minutes, there's been a whole load of substitutions. You wouldn't be surprised at 9.
In front of the Kop, corner kick, 6 minutes remain. Tsimikas to take it. It's another goal. Luis Diaz near post header. And Bournemouth have conceded 9, and it is a record equalling margin of victory in the Premier League. Liverpool become the 4th side to register 9 goals. That one at the Kop. We won 10 is the chant inside Anfield.
Yeah, no surprise in 9. Slight surprise in your voice, but none in mine whatsoever. You know, they've not defended corners, they've not defended anything from open play there, and Diaz just walks into that near post area. Now, to be fair, it's a good corner, put into a near post there, but no one challenging. 9-0. I wonder how City are doing.
Meanwhile, there's been another goal. Manchester City, Will Perry.
And from 2-0 down, Manchester City now lead Crystal Palace by 4 goals to 2. And Erling Haaland has scored his first hat-trick for Manchester City. Beautiful ball from Gundogan. Haaland out-muscled Joel Ward into the bottom left corner. What a turnaround. City 4, Palace 2.
4-2 there. Chelsea down to 10 men, lead Leicester City 2-1. Brighton 1, Leeds United 0. What about Brentford, Everton, Lee Blakeman?
Equaliser for Brentford at last from a corner. Yanel got a tap in on as a sub from about 3 yards out. If ever an equaliser was deserved, it's that for Brentford, who've pushed, and now they have their goal. 5 to play. Brentford 1, Everton 1.
These are the latest scores in the Championship. Well, the result was Sunderland 0, Norwich 1. They temporarily went second. Latest scores: Blackburn 0, Stoke City 1. Dean Holden in caretaker charge. Blackpool 2, Bristol City 3. Cardiff Preston is 0-0. Huddersfield 2, West Bromwich Albion 2. Hull City 3, Coventry 2. Middlesbrough looking for their first win of the season. Leeds Swansea by 2-1. Millwall 0, Reading 1. Rotherham 2, Birmingham 0. Watford 2, Queen's Park Rangers 3. Wigan going to lose their unbeaten record. Wigan 1, Burnley 3. They are the latest scores. There's been another goal at Derby. Chris Coles.
Equaliser for Derby. They've finally taken one of their chances. Jason Knight, front post header from a corner with 2 minutes to play. Derby will fancy their chances now against 10-man Peterborough. Derby 1, Peterborough 1.
Salah trying to force his way in the penalty area, still going, and then it's just cleared away by Lerma. Anywhere will do. This is the noisiest Anfield's been for quite some time, purely because the Liverpool fans, they're a greedy bunch. They want 10 goals.
No, they want 10. It's so unusual to get it at this level of football. But it's a game within a game, and everyone understands the significance of it. To go into double figures would be incredible. So Liverpool might have been tempted just to see this game out. However, the fans, as you can hear, are not having it. They want 10.
Southampton fans are often get quite irked when you mention the defeats that they've suffered at the hands of either Manchester United or Leicester City by conceding 9 goals. It will not be popular at all on the south coast now. 9-0 with Bournemouth succumbing. The other, of course, was the Manchester United beating Ipswich 9-0 in the 90s. Never has a team in the Premier League hit double figures, but Liverpool certainly will try their utmost in the next 3 minutes.
You know, the most important person on the field may well be the referee then, because there's been a whole host of changes. There's been a couple of injuries in this second half as well. There should be a minimum of about 5 or 6 minutes added on at the end. I wonder if he'll do it. I'm not sure he will add on too much. I think there might be a bit of a sympathy vote from the referee.
We'll give you the latest scores. Derby, we've heard about. Sutton 2, Mansfield 1, that's in League 2. Cheltenham 1, Oxford United 2. Oxford United down to 10 men, have turned that one around. Stockport have equalised at home to Swindon 1-1, and it's Walsall 1, Grimsby Town 2. They're the latest scores. Plymouth, in fact, 2, Bolton 0 is now our latest score. Tranmere 2, Colchester 0. Reports and reaction to come in Sports Report. And then, of course, Arsenal, Fulham, commentary from 5:30 with John Murray after Sports Report. Match of the day tonight, BBC One, 10:25. Well, not very often you see this happen, is it?
No, it's not. And the interesting thing about the going to 9 there, it's oddly lifted Bournemouth a wee bit to go and tackle, throw themselves in. They've actually lifted their game, although they do not. There's pride at stake here. So Bournemouth have lifted their game as well. They're flying into tackles and not just sitting back and trying to see this game to the end. So that is the game within a game at the moment, and every red here is staying and thinking, I want to see history. I want to see double figures.
Here is Gomez just over the halfway line, now towards Van Dijk. Certainly Bournemouth will not want a place in the history books to concede 10 goals, as now it's with Salah, plays it forward, Milner in the penalty area, Milner goes for goal, and Travers at his near post turns it behind, corner kick. Another goal at Derby. Chris Coles.
2 goals in 2 minutes for Derby, could well have won this game for the home side. David McGoldrick on as a second half sub, tapping in an excellent cutback. Peterborough 10 men, they were so close, but it looks like they'll lose this now. Derby 2, Peterborough 1.
Corner taken short, Carvalho for Liverpool. Ball chipped in by Clark towards the far post, knockdown header. Carvalho, was he fouled? The referees had a look at that. VAR, of course, will have a look at it. Liverpool were looking for a penalty. They thought that there was a foul there on Carvalho. Goes out of play. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't think there was a great deal in it, but that doesn't matter now because we've got VAR and they will definitely look at it. Certainly the goalkeeper Travers is not having it. He does not want to face a penalty kick in front of the Kop at this point in the game. Well, with very, very little time to go, and I think the assistant referee and the referee have been very kind. 4 minutes.
4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into. That's pleased the Liverpool fans who want a 10th goal. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Manchester City completely turning it around. Oh, hold on.
They may be checking.
Oh no, they were getting excited. They thought VAR was having a check. They did check it, but they've overruled it and nothing doing there. Brentford 1, Everton 1, Brighton 1, Leeds 0. Chelsea still down to 10 men after that Conor Gallagher send-off, still leading Leicester by 2-1. And now Manchester City 4, Crystal Palace 2. They were 2-0 down. Erling Haaland, though, with a hat-trick in the space of 19 minutes at the Etihad. First minute of the 4 eaten up. Another goal at Vicarage Road. Aaron Paul.
Hold on now, I'm not sure if this has been ruled out. If it is, it's a huge shame. Watford 2, QPR 3. Watford have just seen Edu Kayembe with the most outrageous volley, 30 yards out, smashed it past the goalkeeper. I think it's going to be ruled out. Watford 2, QPR 3.
Thank you, Aaron. Liverpool leading 9-0. Salah on this near side, being challenged by Solanke, taken over by Billing. Free kick though in favour of Liverpool. Taken quickly, Salah's forward ball. Luis Diaz, right corner of the area, goes on the outside, waits, doesn't deliver the cross, drags it away from the penalty area, plays it back. Bajcetic now finds Salah, back towards Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz keeps the ball in play on this right side in front of the Kop. 2 more minutes remain. Milner. Now Bajcetic to run forward, looking for Luis Diaz. Carvalho's there, and in the end Marcondes plays it out. Bournemouth firmly doing some defensive work.
The thing you need to remember, it's got so close sometimes in the Premier League at the end of the season, it could be the goal difference, so you don't stop.
Here is Van Dijk. Van Dijk's forward ball. Carvalho is there into the arms of Travers. He holds on to this one. Burnley have got a 4th, Wigan 1, Burnley 4. Blackpool have equalised late on, also in the Championship. Blackpool 3, Bristol City 3. Carvalho and Travers just having a word with each other and to intercept the 2 warring players.
Well, he's gone down once in the box already, Carvalho, and this time he's gone down again. I've not seen a replay, so I can't tell you if there was in it. They've had a little look at it. I don't think they're going to give a penalty. There are some players who come into the game and have to understand that we don't go down quite that easy in the English game, and sometimes you just have to learn how it's looked at in the English game, and apart from going down a little bit too easily, Carvalho has been absolutely superb today.
It's a record equalling defeat for Bournemouth, matching that one away to Lincoln back in 1982. Harry Redknapp's first match in his managerial career as a caretaker after he'd replaced Dave Webb. Salford have left it late but have taken the lead. Salford 1, Stevenage 0 in League 2. And Liverpool right back in their own half as we enter the last 30 seconds of the minimum of 4 to be added on here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and the ball almost presented to Luis Diaz, as rather reluctantly some Liverpool supporters are heading towards the exits. They wanted to see a piece of history. As it is, it will just be the 4th occasion in the Premier League era that a side has won by 9-0.
There's one very, very small moral victory that Bournemouth have got if they manage to get to the end and get to double figures. They've slowed everything down now, and it looks like they'll just see it out. But I mean, it has been incredible how easy it has been to beat that Bournemouth defence. They have been very, very poor today.
Very, very poor. Burnley have got a 5th, Wigan 1, Burnley 5. Bournemouth's misery is complete. They've suffered a joint record defeat in their history as Liverpool have equalled a Premier League margin of victory by hammering Bournemouth by 9-0. Pat Nevin.
9 goals, and it could have been more, and it's not an exaggeration. 12, 13, 14, it could have been that. Even just Mo Salah took his personal chances. Liverpool were brilliant. They even had more gears to go through if they wanted to, and even blooded a few young players as well. Everything went perfectly for Liverpool. Bournemouth, they will hope they will never have a deal like this again.
That's the biggest surprise of all. Salah's not even on the score sheet. Diaz, Elliott, Alexander-Arnold, Firmino, Van Dijk, all before half-time. A Mepamone goal just after the restart. Firmino, Carvalho and Luis Diaz. Liverpool 9, Bournemouth 0.
Reactions come from Anfield. Reactions come from all the games before our next commentary, which is Arsenal against Fulham.